This is a paid program. The ideas expressed do not reflect the views of Nexstar Media Incorporated or this station.
Wow, it's a lot of people to think. I have a huge family, so for me, my immediate family, my husband, my 2 daughters, and my son, they do give me the inspiration to get up every morning and be a part of this world that seems to be crazy at times. Dedication is definitely from my dad and my mom. My dad was the guy that listened. My mom was the voice of the house, but my dad listened, and I learned that tends to be an important role in what I do and how I live my life, to make sure that I'm listening to my kids and I'm listening to those that need me, I guess. Hi, I'm Alice Bey-Pugh, and I'm today's guest on Beyond the Page. Well, I was born and raised in the city of Chicago, grew up on 66 Inwood Street. Wow, growing up was amazing because my mom and dad was the neighborhood family. Like, my parents ended up owning a bus, and they would take all the neighborhood kids with them. And we would go places like Kittyland, Great America, roller skating. And without that collaboration with the community, I don't think that I would have the personality that I have, or be able to see the good in people, even when I know sometimes they may not show that. So growing up over there, it was always kids at our front door. My mom had me have a little candy stand, and I was out front every morning. My dad knew that I was very serious, so he actually went and bought me the candy stand, like with the sign in the front, and so that I was able to just, really boost my business. I was bringing in like $200 a day. I didn't know I was bringing in that much money, but my parents was like, "You're bringing in a lot of money for us. You need more snacks, So it went from chips and candy to snowballs, and so we would, I would be out front every morning. I was diligent. I never not woke up and wasn't ready to be suited up to go out and make sure I had something to sell. And in our household, there is 12 of us. I am the youngest of 12. I lost a brother the same year I was born, so he actually passed away in March. I was born in October. So my mom had a hard pregnancy, so I might be a little sensitive or emotional, and I could believe it comes from my mom. Growing up with 9 boys in the house, you got to be tough. My brothers made me tough. They definitely wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to be on that line of not protecting myself. They were very big fans of boxing. Muhammad Ali was very big in our home. People like Harold Washington, when he ran for election, I remember my mom campaigning for him. So we were very community oriented. My family would clean the streets, and before they had that program for the teenagers and the youth to come out and clean up, my mom would host the block parties in our neighborhood. She made sure our block looked good. We ended up buying the 2 vacant lots on the side of our homes, and my mom ended up having the kids come out and clean it up, and she fenced it up, and they would run and play football in the winter times. So it was never nothing about the kids, and my mom was always about the kids. And it wasn't just my mom, but my dad too. I'm a teacher. I was a teacher for 14 years in my own personal daycare. And then when the pandemic hit, I ended up going into District 88 of Bellwood. I ended up being their 8th grade science teacher for this last year. I'm still considering if I should go back to being maybe a day-to-day sub, because I'm currently working on my PhD. I'm trying to finish up in early childhood education. And I think that's why I approach education different, because we do learn a different set of skills in early childhood that they don't learn in elementary or in high school. They forget that people are people and mistakes are to be made, and it's just about showing and having compassion for the child to show them a better life. So the first book that I actually wrote was Layla, the little girl who loves to doodle. My daughter would color and draw everywhere. When I mean everywhere, that meant everywhere. So she would draw on our walls, she would draw on the floors. If she found some notebook and a piece of paper laying around, it was hers to draw. So the crazy part about that was my husband would be furious. So he was like, "Babe, she can't draw on the walls." And I was like, well, if she's not going to be herself in these 4 walls, then where can she be herself? Okay. I remember learning or reading an article on the gentleman that created The Simpsons, and his parents let him do the same thing. He was able to draw on the walls. And then so for me, I had to tell my husband, hey, The Simpsons been around for some umpteen years, but this guy had his mom had the same mentality that I had. Allow your child to be a child. She didn't care what he did to his room, to the walls in his room, but she definitely didn't want him pushing it out into the rest of the house. So it was okay if you draw in your room, just keep it in here. And when he was in school, he used to doodle on his paper and assignments, and the teacher would call the parents and say, hey, why are you doodling on these assignments? We need you to just hand in an English assignment or hand in a math assignment. What is all this stuff up here? And my daughter does the same exact thing. And so for me, I was like, it has to be more kids like her. There has to be more kids that is drawing and want to express themselves, but they're stuck to the academics. So what do I do about that? I need to tell her story. So it's been hard lately to be motivated because I have so many things on my plate. But one of the biggest things that motivates me is that time with my family. When we get those vacations and we're together and I'm back home, now back home is Las Vegas because that's where my mom stays. So when I get a chance to be around my mom and my brothers and my siblings, I'm able to get those stories in line because they actually come a little natural when you get to laugh about something or smile about something because you see a story in it. And to watch my nieces and nephews, they have all been a part of my writing. They all have their own characters. I went out and had their cartoon images created because I have another side of doodle art that I've been pushing to do my YouTube channel where the cartoons are actually something that I've been writing and producing with 3 or 4 other people to make sure that I have a sound person, I have an artist, and I have someone to do the voiceover, and the voiceover is Layla herself. Even though the books are about her, I made her be the voiceover because I figured that kids want to hear their voice, and another kid's voice is kind of similar to, hey, I can hear myself. So, yeah. Well, the one thing that surprised me the most is that how surprised a lot of the kids in my classroom was knowing that I was the author. They wanted to buy my book. They couldn't believe that I, their teacher, wrote a book. And not just a book, but a children's book, something for them, something that identified them. And they go, so where did you get these images from? And where did this idea come from? And I go, the same ideas and writing that you put on your piece of paper when you're in your English class or your ELA class, it's the same writing that comes to me. You can become an author too. So knowing that there's someone that looks like them helps. Oh, wow. So authors that inspired me, and again, I had to look this one up. because, for one, I ended up getting Michelle Obama's book, her book For Becoming. And she was herself. She was personal, but she was open and extremely transparent. And she wanted people to know her struggle as a woman of color, a woman to the President of the United States, a woman who has to raise 2 girls. And it's just being a mom. And you were able to see that when you read her book. You were able to see her struggle. You knew where she came from. She came from the city of Chicago. And even though we get a bad rep, we are women from the city of Chicago. And we're probably one of the strongest women you may run into, because we know that struggle. We know what it is to be on those streets. We know how to carry ourselves. And with the love and support that she also had from her parents, I had that same love and support from my parents and the circle that I'm in. So I get it. I get how it is to shine or be that flower in the concrete. So for my books, a lot of my reviews are on Amazon. I haven't had any really bad reviews. Most people that know that I have the first book is excited to know that there's a second book and there's a third book. And a lot of times when they come over to speak to me, it's really funny you said that. I had a lady come up to me. I do a lot of craft fairs in the States. And the lady came up to me. She said, I want to let you know I met you a couple of weeks ago and you signed my book, and I just wanted to say hi. And the book was amazing. The colors are gorgeous, and I just wanted to let you know that I appreciate you, and do you have anything new for me? And I'm like, yeah, I'm working on another book. But this was not in the same line of the Doodle Art, but it is a Doodle Art Collection. It's going to be about my son and his trip on a plane ride. You know, our kids don't leave the community. They stay there. They don't know that you can get on a plane and travel across the world and see any and everything you want to see. There's more to your neighborhood. So I want to push this book out there so kids can be able to see, you know what, take that plane ride, get that suitcase, and grab your favorite snack and make a plane ride your best experience ever. So now it's focusing on the male version because, yeah, our young men don't get to see that.
We